Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is a quick tutorial on doing your BOI filing, beneficial ownership information filing, which is required now under the Corporate Transparency Act for many, if not most, LLCs, corporations, and similar entities. This was a new law that went into effect on January 1st of 2024, and it's meant to help the government cut down on money laundering, tax evasion, illegal activities, et cetera, by giving them a quicker, more transparent view into who owns companies and keeping individuals and other people from layering companies on top of one another to hide true ownership of those companies. So the government is requiring a free one-time filing that must be made if you are not an exempt company. In our class available at corporatetransparency.ai, it's a very cost-effective, easy 60-minute overview of the act. We go through what those 23 different exempt situations and companies are, so please be sure to give us a visit there. If you have questions regarding your unique specific situation, we highly encourage you to talk to your accountant or attorney, as this tutorial is not meant to be legal or tax advice regarding your specific situation. So let's talk about the actual filing itself. Again, this is a one-time filing unless your business details change, which again, in the corporatetransparency.ai class, we go over a bunch of those situations and what would trigger that and those timelines. But for your initial filing, you want to go to fincen.gov. That's fincen.gov. And that is the website for the main filing. Once you're at the fincen.gov website, as you can see on the screen, we're going to scroll down. We're going to find the beneficial ownership information link, and we're going to click on that. You would also get there directly by going to fincen.gov/BOI. So once you're at that webpage, you're going to look for the link that says file a report using the BOI e-filing system. That's what we're going to use to file our initial report. There's also a link there for create a FineCen ID. We're not going to do that right now. That's optional. It's not required to complete this report. That's for individuals who want to acquire a separate unique identification number instead of putting some of their personal information on this form, even though this form is not going to be available to the public or subject to FOIA's Freedom of Information Act. They do give you that option. So we're going to click on the file a report using the filing system. We are going to scroll down till we see the file, the BOIR tab. We are going to click on that. We're not going to use the PDF version. There is a reusable, downloadable PDF version of this, but we're going to submit online today. So we go to the File Online tab and click Prepare and Submit. There is a warning there that you should read, which is the government may monitor this. They're going to see all your information they put in here, etc. We're okay with that, so we're going to click Agree. This is going to take you to the form that you're going to use. Initially on the form, under the Filing Information tab, you are going to see 4 different buttons you can click. If you have not filed one of these before, you're going to file click the Initial Report button, and that will autofill the date for you, and you're going to be all set on this screen. You should read the Privacy Act and Paperwork Reduction Act notice down there at the bottom. You should always read everything that anybody puts in front of you. The government is no exception. You're not going to use the correct or update or newly exempt entity buttons. Those are for different situations where you need to change information or you're moving from a reporting company to an exempt entity, etc. So right now, initial filing, we're just going to click that and click Next. You see a couple of check boxes there. Request a FineCen ID. Again, we're not doing that as part of this filing. You can do that separately. Nor are most of you going to be a foreign pooled investment vehicle. If you know what that is, then you might be one. If you don't and don't think you're one, you're probably okay. If you're unsure, again, please talk to your accountant or legal advisor. As we scroll down, we're going to need to put in the legal name of the company. The reporting company, the company that is required to file this this one-time filing. The name you should put in here is the one that matches exactly what is on your filing with the Secretary of State or whoever else you filed your LLC type paperwork with your corporation paperwork with, etc. So we want it to match exactly. Go back and check your original documentation from the state to make sure you got all your commas and all that stuff in the right place. If the business is using any alternative names, if it's using a DBA, a doing business as, or a trade name or anything like that, we're going to want to enter those, and you'll see an additional button. If your business uses multiple names, operates under a bunch of different names, we would want to add each one of those names there. Then we scroll down and we see form of identification. This is not your form of identification. This is the business's form of identification. So when we click on that drop down, we see that you can either put in your EIN number that you've been issued by the IRS, right? Your employer identification number. You can also put in your social security number or tax ID number if you're using a different number to identify yourself with the government, with the IRS. Or your foreign ID number if your business was originally registered and is operated in a foreign entity or foreign country, then you would put that information there. So want to make clear here that having a EIN number does not mean that you have to file one of these, nor does having a social security number mean that you don't. Again, if you take our class at corporatetransparency.ai, we'll get into what kind of companies have to file this. But at its core, it's anybody who registers an LLC, an LLP, a corporation, or something like that with their Secretary of State or a similar entity, and does not meet one of the 23 exemption categories or situations. So we put that tax ID number in here, or that EIN, enter it, and then if there's a foreign jurisdiction, if it was issued by a foreign government, we would select that. We scroll down, we see jurisdiction of formation or first registration, and that's where we're going to select what state this was from. And then we're going to go through and put in that business's primary address. Please note here that that address, according to the government at this time, cannot be a PO box. So if you're unsure what address to put there as an alternative, please check with your accountant, your tax attorney, or visit the FindSend.gov website for some clarity on that as they provide it. So once we have the business's current address in there, we click next, and that's going to take us to the company applicant page. The company applicant is the person who is filling out this registration on behalf of the company. If your company existed and was registered with the Secretary of State in your state or similar entity before January 1st, 2024, then you would click that existing reporting company box. If your company did not register, even though it existed with your Secretary of State prior to January 1st, 2024, if your registration didn't happen until after that, then you're going to leave that box blank and you would fill in the company applicant information, which is whoever is filling out this document, and even perhaps an additional entry for whoever instructed you to fill out that document, right? Because they may be different than the beneficial owners of the company. But again, if your company existed before January 1st, 2024, you can click that existing reporting box. It'll tell you that it's going to disable the company applicant fields, and you no longer need to fill those out. So we're going to scroll down, because in this instance, we're assuming that early on right now, most people are their LLCs, et cetera, were in place before January 1st, 2024. So then we go to the beneficial ownership information. And again, we cover a lot of this in our very reasonably priced Corporate Transparency Act class that you can find at corporatetransparency.ai. But we want you to make sure that you include anybody that owns at least 25% of the company and or has substantial control over the company. And in that class, we go through what does substantial control mean and some of the examples the government has given. If there's more than one beneficial owner or person controlling, we would check the box up in the upper right corner. We would add as many beneficial owners and controlling parties as is appropriate. Box number 35 there, parental or parent guardian information. This would only be for businesses where the business is owned by a minor child, which it might be, right? If you've given part of your business to your child for whatever reason, you would check that, and then you would fill in the appropriate parent guardian information instead of minor child. FineSend ID, again, this is optional. It's not required. This is something that people can do for an increased level of comfort when it comes to their private information. If you did request and previously receive a FineSend ID, you would put it in box 36. As you scroll down, you're going to see the exempt entity box. As throughout this form, you can click on the very helpful question marks, and you can hover over a lot of stuff and it'll give you more information. Very few entities are going to be exempt from this. There's roughly 23 categories. We go through them in the class available at corporatetransparency.ai. You can also find a breakdown of those on the finesend.gov website. Okay, as we scroll down, you see legal name and date of birth. This is going to be the full legal name of each beneficial owner and person that controls the company, right? So if somebody controls the company but isn't an owner, they would likely still need to go on here. You're also going to need to include in box 43 through 47 their residential address, not the company address, but their residential address. And this form needs to be updated when those residential addresses change. You have 30 days to do that. We go into the details of that in the class available at corporatetransparency.ai. Lastly, you're going to have to include a form of government issued identification in box 48 through 51 that verifies you are in fact, or these people are in fact beneficial owners. They're real, they exist. So you would go through and select the identifying document type, state issued driver's license, passport, etc. It needs to be current. It cannot be expired. Box 49, you are going to put in the identifying document information, your driver's license number, passport number, etc. The country it was issued in. So if it was issued in the United States and any of our territories, etc., you would choose from there. The actual state it's issued in. If it was a tribal or local entity, you would select from that. Now, very important, box number 51, you actually have to upload a picture of this government ID. So you want to take a picture of it with your phone or a scanner or whatever, and you're going to upload it there and make sure that those numbers that you've included in the legal name that you put on there matches. So you're going to do that for every beneficial owner. Again, if you don't know what a beneficial owner is, please visit our class at corporatetransparency.ai to learn more about the nuances of that. Once we've done that, we're going to click next, and that takes us to the submission page where you can see you put in your email address, confirm it. That way you'll get a confirmation in your email. Your first and last name is the person completing this. And then again, very important, this box where you certify that you've been truthful and honest and not deliberately left out any information. If you are deliberately dishonest, fraudulent, omit information, there are actually criminal penalties up to 2 years and a $10,000 fine, 2 years in jail, and a $10,000 fine for deliberately being shady on this form. So make sure you put in everything to the best of your ability, honestly, all that. Again, if you have questions, please ask an attorney or your tax professional. When we're all done with that, we are going to click I agree, I am human. We're going to click submit, and it usually only takes a few seconds, and it will take you to a confirmation screen. You want to print that off, take a screenshot, or it might take you to a screen where it says there's a problem and you would follow the instructions appropriately. There you go. That is your initial filing. Please keep in mind that just because you did an initial filing doesn't mean that you're done. If any of your information changes, any of the material data that's included in this form, you may be required to do an update or an amended form within 30 days. Please research that, go to the finesend.gov website, take our class so that you know what those situations are. Don't get caught off guard with hefty fines and penalties for failing to do that. That's it. We hope this tutorial was really helpful. Again, this is not meant to constitute specific legal or tax advice regarding your situation. If you have really specific questions there, things that you can't get answered through our class at corporatetransparency.ai or through the finesend.gov website or these other places, please go ahead and reach out to an advisor. That is the end of this tutorial. Please be sure to click follow down there on the bottom. We would love for you to follow this YouTube channel, subscribe. We will be posting updates, clarifications, things like that on both the Corporate Transparency Act as well as other regulations and laws that come into effect and affect entrepreneurs and small business owners. We want to help you not lose as much sleep and make sure that everything is on the up and up. Thank you again. Good luck.